So for some context, we're currently running an ABM program that's 200 accounts. This month, we're actually pushing this one to 500, but doing it for 2 months of one-to-one ABM through LinkedIn and BDR outbound. It contributes to about 15% of our sales pipeline. What we're going to go over today is how to get this going at a MVP level. So what's the baseline of what you can build to get this built and get buy-in from leadership or whoever's the budget holder, but also figure out how to align with your BDR team on how to actually execute this program. What you're going to be doing is building this out for 5 to 10 target accounts. Each account should have about 2 or more previous customers in it. I think Sarah, you're a customer. You should have more than the 2+ previous customers. So we're going to kind of go through how to do this manually. All of this can be automated on the UserGems side, but this is not a sales call. This is a build an MVP call. ABM playbook. The goal is to keep this as simple as possible. So define the ICP and persona, prioritize which accounts you're going after, prioritize the prospects, LinkedIn campaigns for the marketing campaign to start before you build out programmatic or anything like that, and then build out the sales outreach around the individual prospects and why you're reaching out to them. Why so many of the ABM programs fail? I do about 4 customer calls every single week going over this exact same topic. And every single time that an ABM program is failing is overcomplicating early programs. BDR team doesn't have the right contacts and prioritizing nebulous signals. So we're going to kind of dive into exactly what to focus on to avoid that overcomplication and get aligned here. So again, we're defining and aligning on that ICP. So ICP accounts, who are the employees, revenue, industry, tech stack, geography, all the basics for ABM. And then diving into target personas, so functions, seniority, keyword inclusions, and exclusions. At a more granular level, you're going to be prioritizing accounts based off of relationship signals primarily, along with these others. Obviously, a lot of you will have a sixth sense or a demand base or some other form of intent, or you have a list of people that have downloaded content or something like that. Layer those in with that previous relationship. These accounts convert about 2 times higher on the win rates. They're larger deal sizes and they're 12% shorter sales cycles. So when you're building the MVP, the goal is to get buy-in. If you're launching to cold accounts that don't have any relationships or entry points for your BDR team, you're going to be passing these accounts over to the BDR team, and they're not going to have anybody to action on their side. They're going to be trying to do some manual contact research. It's cold outreach. I did a session with Eric Taylor from LeanIX on this, and his point was whenever he's run ABM programs in the past, BDRs can't pick up a phone and call and say, hey, your account is surging on 6 cents or something like that. But what they can do is pick up the phone and say, hey, you used this in the past, or hey, you're a new executive that just joined this account, trying to make an impact. So give your BDRs a reason to reach out, and that BDR relationship is a lot healthier. The second piece is around new execs. So this is one that you could pull from LinkedIn Sales Nav. You could pull it from sometimes Zoom Info. The thing to focus on with this one, though, is manual action as granular as possible, especially early on, is going to be faster than a sales Nav or a Zoom Info or something like that. On the automated side for you, Sarah, focus on pulling those automatically. You'll have a list in there from UserGems kind of showing you exactly who to go after in terms of new execs. We recently ran a study on this one, though, and so a lot of us have heard this. So the new executives spend 70% of their budget in their first 100 days. But what we wanted to see is how does that correlate with the speed that you reach out to them? So new execs are converting about 3 times higher in their first 3 months than after 1 year. So once you have that delay in action when you're reaching out to new execs, when your BDRs are doing that, or you're prioritizing an account based off of new execs, if it's been too long of a time, they're actually way less likely to convert than those first 90 to 100 days. Going a little bit more granular into exactly who past customers, new buyers actually are. You want to be focusing on close 1 contacts, That's going to be your low-hanging fruit for all of these. Open up contacts, close lost contacts, demo requesters, admins, users are all that second layer. So for this MVP, focus in on those closed won contacts and then add these in as you go. So as you're expanding the program and you can kind of test how each of these tiers works, layer these in. And then again on the new buyers. So if you have a target account and new execs are joining, focus on those new hires and also promotions. Promotions sometimes come with that new budget. Also, they're trying to make a better impact right as they make that promotion. So we're kind of surfacing all those accounts up towards the top. Again, make it super easy for your BDRs to identify and prioritize the contacts. This is huge for early programs. If you're just passing accounts over BDRs, they will not action them. I don't know if anybody here has experienced that with ABM programs, but when you pass a BDR team a list of accounts and then you actually go in and check activity on those accounts, it's usually not what you want to be seeing that's actually going on. So kind of, especially early on, really like build this out for them, send those contacts over if you can, or at least give them really clear steps on exactly how to execute that. They know how their BDR. Oh, actually, did I just freeze?
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Cool. Um, I was a kid. Are we good now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Does anybody know how their BDRs are actually outbounding currently? How they're actually finding these accounts? Are they using Zoom Info, Sales Nav? What the process looks like right now?
We're doing both of those things.
Okay. And in general, so have you launched an ABM program on this side of things, or is that something you're trying to build out right now?
We have, but not as I define it as ideal state. Like we've sort of dipped the toe in the water of ABM.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. This is kind of what the report I built looks like that we actually pass over. So this is what we use, and then there's a subset of this where we're actually defining exactly who these are. So we're actually diving into each of these accounts and showing, I look at this when we're building out our accounts, showing exactly how many champions and what tier they are at every single one of my accounts so that I can prioritize the accounts based off of that. So this is kind of my low-hanging fruit report in Salesforce for me. Going a little bit into the LinkedIn ads portion. So when you first start these programs, you're again 5 to 10 accounts. We've been able to build a process that's gotten us to 500. One of the main things you're going to be focusing on is customizing the ads to the individual companies. And a lot of the time, the question we get is like, do people complain when you use their logo in the ad? And so in a batch of about 350, you'll get one account that will complain. You'll get an email saying from somebody on the team, we've even had it from BDRs saying, don't use our logo in ads. It's never been an issue in about 4 years that we've been running it, but you'll always get like one. The pro on this, though, is engagement and CTR, being able to actually call out the individual company, call out a pain point that's really specific to them. So these buyers just changed jobs and you missed 80% of them. You missed 80% of the buyers. One of the things to focus on too is get as hyper customized as possible when you first start, especially with these 5 to 10. So this program, when we were running around 200, the ads we actually served showed an actual champion that was a customer at their account who had a testimonial on their site that had changed jobs. So we were actually saying, hey, Hannah Duncan just moved from Twilio to Cisco. Have you reached out to them yet? So trying to add as much value to those ads, and it especially removes that pain around if they don't like the use of their logo in the ad or something like that. Actually, including a valuable piece of information can be super helpful in these ads. Again, why about 15% of these accounts will actually convert to opportunity for us is based around this. Going into exactly what to tell your campaign team. We run those 500 accounts with just me and 3 virtual assistants. We have one person that actually builds the ads in Canva, and we have 2 people that actually go in and create the campaigns in LinkedIn ads. So going into that, we send over this doc, has all the instructions step by step of exactly how to build out these audiences. So kind of starting as narrowed in as possible, showing them exactly how to get them to that 300 target audience and moving out from there. So really color just like bullet by bullet exactly what to click, when to click it. And it makes, once you have one of these set up, it makes it really easy to test VAs for how good they are. So if you're finding them on Upwork or anything like that, try to give this project to 3 or 4, see how they perform, and then go from there. For these audiences, if they start too small, remove job seniorities. Still too small, remove the functions, narrow a filter for engineers. Still small, message me and I'll get this figured out. What we found though is even as you expand this audience, we've actually seen BDRs sending it to their BDR leaders, or somebody on the engineering team taking a screenshot of the ad, sending it to the VP of marketing or CRO. We still see a lot of impact even as you go broader outside your buying committee. A lot of these accounts, you're not going to have to spend more than $5 to $10 per account for a period to reach most of the account. If you're going enterprise at $100 CPM, you can reach 1,000 people for $100. So actually a pretty cheap program once you get narrowed in on these at the company level. Pair this with BDR outbound though. So on the left here is just kind of plain cold outreach. You have 5%, 3% reply rates. Past relationships, we're sitting about 26% reply rates. And then new hires and cold. So these are those new execs that have joined the account, about 14 and 8% on that cold outreach. All of these playbooks are on our site. If you go up to resources, go to playbooks, we have exactly what emails to send, when to send them, when to connect on LinkedIn. All of that information is free on the site. So if you want to copy that directly, send that over to your BDR team and have them reach out to the accounts like that. Wanted to dive into this question from you, Emily. So measuring, resolving attribution conflict, multimodal programming. One of the first things, this is something like as we've started talking with the Snowflakes and the UKGs and companies like that, this is something that always comes up. The resolution side of it, so after some of those companies have become customers, is acknowledging there will always be attribution conflict. ABM is built around the sales marketing relationship, so sometimes over optimizing for attribution, especially in the early cycles of your ABM program, will kill the program. So aligning with your BDRs right when you start that, hey, this attribution is going to be messy at first. We just want to evaluate if the program itself is working. Once the program generates revenue, focus on giving credit to both marketing and BDR. So we actually, if there's mixed attribution where somebody on the BDR team reached out within those 30 days, but then they still converted through an ad or something like that, but they booked their BDR, we just pay no matter what. So we pay the BDRs on all of these book demos, especially early in the program when you don't have all the attribution figured out, because it generates buy-in. I mean, salespeople are motivated by getting their commission checks. So if you're not getting them their commission checks, they're not going to be really bought into the ABM program. Only once you're producing pipelines, so you have closed deals associated with the program, then do you look into optimizing individual pieces of the program. So focus on that time frame based sales cycle, time frame based on the sales cycle. So for us, we focus on a 90-day window around the program. We have a 30-day direct attribution within the time period of an ABM one-to-one campaign that runs for 30 days. But then we know some of our BDRs actually outbound beyond that, sometimes in that 45-day range, and sometimes they take a little bit longer to convert. Lots of customer interviews, listen to gong calls to find out where they exactly found you. What we found is even 90 days out, people were still bringing up the one-to-one ABM program as their attribution for why they converted. So listen to your customers and kind of figure out what that window is and attribute based off of that. Then dive into how each piece of the program is converting. Just now are we really getting into how the BDR portion is really converting, how the ads portion converts, how long-term outbounding works, how junior outbounding works, all that stuff is once you have a program that's consistently producing pipeline is when you start diving into those things. That was a lot of talking. Any questions on any of the pieces of this? Any kind of hiccups in how you see executing the MVP for whichever company you're a part of?
I would ask if it's not sort of direct source pipeline attribution, which I get why it wouldn't be. What do you think is the best success metric for the ABM program overall?
Yeah, so for us, the one main metric that we watch is for ongoing health of the campaign is conversion to opportunity. So what percentage of all of these accounts within a 30-day, a 60-day, within a 90-day window have turned into opportunities for us? So in that 30-day window, we're trying to shoot for that 10% mark of 10% of all the accounts have converted to an op for us. That 90 days where we're looking for that 15%. This will vary industry to industry, company to company, but start trying to form that baseline. Early on, sometimes I've launched more of like premium programs where 8 out of my 10 accounts have converted. Definitely get multiple sample sizes because you're going to be very disappointed if all of your months don't convert at 80%. But yeah, try and form those baselines early on, and track it month to month. So are you a Salesforce shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we tag every single account with we have a custom field for when they've been ABX'd. So we put the date and year in there, and then we have it rolling too. So once you start tracking which accounts you've ABX, we usually wait about 6 months before we'll recycle an account. So after that 6 month mark, we can put them back into the ABX, and they'll still convert at the same rate. I think we found 3 to 4 times we have no drop off in overall conversion rate of recycling ABX accounts. After that fourth time is when we see a drop off in conversion to op. Any questions? Sarah, do you have any questions? Thanks for hopping in. I'm hoping this
Yeah,
yeah.
you said that you've scaled this to hundreds of accounts at this point with your organization.
Yeah, so this month we actually just launched to 500 accounts we're doing like a 3 month period for this month. So 500 total, but we're testing out actually running all 500 for a 3 month period just to see what the conversion rate is like for longer ad cycles and for longer outbounding.
How have you operationalized this with your BDRs? Like, walk me through what it looked like when you originally introduced this concept and got them on board and got them into the process, and how do you work with them now that it seems like it's an evergreen program?
Yeah, definitely. So early on, really hands-on with the BDR team. We pass over the accounts. We let them just to help that relationship. We let them take a look at all the accounts we're going to be ABXing for that period, and let them filter out accounts they just don't think are going to be closing. We answer any questions. Obviously, we don't remove every single one that we get an objection to because BDRs can get a little picky sometimes. But we let them actually look at the account list that we're passing over, and we give them about a week to actually pick through that, swap accounts, everything like that. Once we actually launch, what we did initially, just to take as much off their plate as possible, is we actually handled a little bit of the contact selection on our side. With UserGems now, though, with the current platform, they're able to hop into the platform and actually see each contact at that account. So Pied Piper, exactly what the relationship is. So are they a past champion, one-op contact, anything like this? And we automatically prioritize each contact at that account based off of how likely they are to close. Really good relationship on that side with the UserGems piece. With the manual piece, it's going to take a lot more like manual effort of like letting them know this is the exact person you're looking for. This is how to find this job change in Sales Nav or Zoom Info. Kind of breaking them down of like, here's your step for finding this, five accounts, or I mean, 5 contacts at each account. But one of the biggest things too, when you're first starting these programs, is hop in there and actually try and see the activity on the BDRs. So make sure that this is actually happening on that side, because inevitably you'll have BDRs that actually aren't doing these things. If they aren't, come alongside them and be like, hey, notice notice this didn't happen, and then try and pull some contacts yourself to kind of help them out. Realize that these contacts convert at a way higher rate. Now it's a lot more automated again, so we have that sheet we pass over to the ads team. The BDR team knows exactly what to do every month. So after a few months of it, they really get bought into it because, again, 15% of our pipeline's coming from it. Their commission checks are coming from the ABM program.
And you refresh the list with them every month, so they're kind of expecting, like on the first of the month, they get a new list to work.
Yeah, yeah. So I think even now, so we're going to be, so we passed it's the 15th. We've passed over next month's account list to them. I just passed over the accounts to my VAs for them to build out the campaigns. Ads are already done for this month. So once you get the system and get the timeline of how fast your VAs work, how fast do BDRs pick through these account lists, all that, then it works a lot better. Awesome. Any other questions on any of these sections?
So a bit off topic, but
Yeah.
I understand you guys, so your BDRs are housed and structured under marketing.
Yep. Yeah, so BDRs roll up into marketing for us, makes attribution and kind of that battle a lot easier. If they aren't rolling up into marketing, try to figure out the split between what sales needs to be happy and what marketing needs to be happy. A lot of these programs too, I know Sarah, if like a lot of our UserGems customers, it's really whoever acts first on pushing one of these programs. So for marketing buys UserGems, marketing gets the attribution for a lot of these things. Sales buys UserGems, then sales gets a lot of the attribution. So kind of act first and put that program underneath you, especially if you can get some buy-in around the program, makes the department look good.
I like the slide earlier coming out, having a sales background as well. The context you're providing to the BDRs is so important because to get them to have that buy-in to actually make the effort consistently, context is everything. So I think that's just a super important part.
Yeah, I think a lot of the training is actually around just get them excited about the program is the gist of it. BDRs get excited when they have a reason to reach out. They're stuck cold calling all day, and a lot of the time they don't have a great reason to be cold calling. But if they can cold call and say, "Hey, just saw you got a promotion," or "Hey, just saw you landed in this new role," "Hey, looks like you just changed jobs. You used to use us." You get referrals into accounts really easily, and you can actually get a conversation going a lot easier too. Awesome. We're coming up on time. Any last questions?
Actually, I have one other is how many ads are you running in these sequences?
Yeah, so right now I'm only running 2 in the current. I'm going to launch in the middle of this batch. I'm actually going to launch 3 more. One to test new formats and messaging. And also just because LinkedIn always prioritizes campaigns with 5 ads. I finally got confirmation on that one that it's actually changes your deliverability. So they have a pool of available impressions or available accounts that are able to receive impressions. And they actually gave me the percentage breakdown based off my campaigns that had 2 ads versus my campaigns that had 5 ads. And it was like 17% of the impressions on one of those 2 ad campaigns. So they're drastically penalizing accounts that have less ads in the campaigns. Good old LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I would also say for these, on the more technical level, set the ad campaigns to manually rotate the ads. So even distribution of the ads, especially when you're starting, is really important for getting a good sample of which ads are actually working. LinkedIn tends to pick ads way too quickly and over-optimize for ads way too quickly. So get that manual rotation. Also, for that 30-day period, they're just always seeing something fresh and it's not the exact same ad every single time. So you can rotate through messaging a lot easier.
Sweet. Good to know.
Yeah. If any of you ever have any other questions on this stuff, shoot me a LinkedIn message. I do sessions like this all the time, so I'm always happy to either pop you in or just do a one-on-one or whatever. Emily, if you end up standing up the ABM program, happy to look through it, take a look at it. But good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's great. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Awesome. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday, y'all, and have a good weekend.
Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah.